Dear students, today I will discuss on a single-stranded DNA bacteriophage M13. We know bacteriophages are viruses that infect and grow inside the bacterial cell, and after growing they lyse the host cell. That is why they are called bacteriophages. Phage means to eat. Since they completely destroy the bacterial cell, they are called bacteriophages. Now, depending on the genome present inside a bacteriophage, they are either called DNA bacteriophages or RNA bacteriophages. Now, the nature of the DNA may be double-stranded or single-stranded. Similarly, RNA viruses can have double-stranded RNA or single-stranded RNA as their genome. Now, most of the bacteriophages are double-stranded DNA bacteriophages. Only a few bacteriophages are single-stranded DNA bacteriophages. Two such families are Microviridae and Inoviridae. Members of the family Microviridae are small icosahedral viruses, whereas members of the family Inoviridae are filamentous viruses. Filamentous DNA viruses are also called male-specific viruses or F-specific viruses because they infect the host cell using the F pillars. So, all the bacterial cells having F pillars are sensitive to this filamentous single-stranded DNA bacteriophages. So far, three filamentous bacteriophages have been studied extensively: M13, FD and F1, and they are 98% identical. Today I will discuss on M13.
Ma'am, what is the significance of M in M13?
Yes, M13 virus was discovered by scientist Peter Hans Hofschneider in 1963 from the sewage in Munich, Germany. That is why the bacteriophage got its name Munich 13 or M13. M13 bacteriophage belongs to the Baltimore group 2 since it has single-stranded DNA as its genome, and it is a member of the family Inoviridae and the genus is Inovirus. Now, M13, normal M13 is 900 nanometer long and 6.5 nanometer in diameter, and it is coded by a major code protein GP8, and 4 minor code proteins are found at both the ends. This is the structure of one GP8 protein. It is a 50 residue long alpha helix, and we can divide the alpha helix into 3 functional segments. The N-terminal segment, which is composed of 20 residues, is called segment 1, and it is present in the outside of the filament. Whereas the segment 2, it is a hydrophobic region, and these hydrophobic regions of GP8 molecules interact among themselves and form the structural component of the filament, and they provide structural similarity. The C-terminal end is 11 residue long and rich in lysine residues, and thus this part interacts with the negatively charged DNA. 4 minor code proteins are found in M13. GP3 and GP8 are present at this end, and together they form an adsorption complex, and this adsorption complex recognizes the F pillars present on the bacterial cell surface. On the other hand, GP7 and GP9 form a complex, and this is the site from where assembly of N13 starts. And all these minor code proteins are present 5 copies in each filamentous phage particle. The genome of M13, the wild type M13, has a single-stranded DNA of 6,400 nucleotides, and the genome is present inside the filament, and you can see this is the packaging, this hairpin loop is the packaging signal. It is packaged in such a way that the packaging signal is present at the end where GP7 and 9 minor proteins are present. The genome contains 11 genes, and the genes are grouped by function. Like the proteins encoded in genes 2, 10 and 5, they are required for the viral DNA replication. The proteins encoded in the genes 7, 9, 8, 3 and 6, they are required to form the capsid or the filament. And proteins encoded in the genes 1, 11 and 4, they are required for the assembly and release of the M13 from the infected bacterial host. This region of 508 base pair is called intragenic region. It is a cis-acting element. It is present between genes 2 and 4, and this region carries a number of regulatory functions. Like the origin of replication for both positive and negative strand is present here. This is the packaging signal, okay, and this region helps the DNA to package and orient properly inside the filament. There are two strong promoters, one after gene 8 and one after gene 4. There are two strong transcription terminators, one after gene 8 and one after gene 2, and there is a weak terminator within gene 1. Now, how M13 infects its host? The infection process is unique. Okay. In case of double-stranded DNA viruses, they directly inject their genome into the host cell, but here M13 itself enters into the host cell, and they use the GP3 and GP6 end of the filament to adsorb on the F pilus, and on the bacterial surface the F pilus and 3 or 4 proteins of bacterial origin, TOL A, Q, R, they act as a receptor. The GP3 protein, it has 3 domains, the N-terminal domains N1, N2, and this is the C-terminal domain. The N1 and N2 domains are necessary for the infection of M13, whereas CT domain helps during the release of the M13 from the infected host. Now, for what happens, N2 first combines with the N2 joins F pilus, and N1 contacts the TOL1 protein present in the bacterial membrane. Now, as the pilus retracts, the filament comes to the periplasm, okay, and then it starts entering into the cell. During entering, all the coat proteins disassemble and they are embedded in the bacterial cell surface. These proteins are again used during the assembly of mature M13, that is, they are recycled. Now, the genome present in the M13 bacteriophage is called positive. Why? Because the sequence present in the DNA is similar to the sequence present in the mRNA. That is why it is called the positive. Now, replication of this DNA, viral DNA, occurs in 3 stages. The first stage is synthesis of the complementary strand, which will be negative in sense. So, what happens? The replication starts with a 20 nucleotide long primer synthesized by the E. coli RNA polymerase. Then E. coli DNA polymerase continues replication and the negative strand will be formed. Now, this stage is called replicative form, which carries both the positive and negative sense DNA. And now, from the negative strand, transcription starts. All the viral proteins will be transcribed from the negative strand. There are 2 strong terminators, as I told you before, and these 2 strong terminators divide the genome into 2 transcription regions. One frequently transcribed region from gene 2 to 8 and one infrequently transcribed region from gene 3 to 4. The second stage involves multiplication of the replicative form. Now, gene product 2, it nicks the positive strand DNA. Then, from the 3-terminal OH terminal group, DNA polymerase will start DNA replication and the original positive strand will be displaced. This is called rolling circle mechanism. Now, when one replicative form is completed, okay, then the GP2 again cleave the DNA and one unit length DNA of viral genome will be formed. This positive strand will be used again as the template to synthesize the negative strand, and one more replicative form will be produced. This way, for the initial 15 to 20 minutes, many replicative forms are synthesized. All the positive strands produced are converted to replicative form. Now, when almost 100 to 200 replicative forms are present in a cell, enough GP5 is produced. Clear? GP5 is a single strand binding protein. Once this single strand binding protein has accumulated in the cell, they will bind to the displaced positive strand DNA and they will prevent the positive strand to act as a template for replicative to produce a replicative form. Now assembly will take place. Assembly and release of M13 bacteriophage is extraordinary. Why? For double-stranded DNA bacteriophages, assembly of the capsid proteins takes place inside the cytoplasm. Okay, then they are released from the host cell. But here assembly and release occurs at the same time. What happens? All the capsid proteins, after their synthesis, they are embedded in the inner cytoplasmic membrane with their N terminus in the periplasm and C terminus in the cytoplasm. And they form three proteins P1, P11 and P4 produce a extrusion pore in the membrane. P4 proteins assemble and form this pore, then it interacts with P1 and P11 and together they form a pore spanning the outer and inner membrane. Now the DNA of M13 is already GP5 coated. Now the GP5 will be replaced by GP8, okay, and packaging starts from the hairpin loop. The hairpin loop of the single-stranded DNA, it interacts with the two proteins GP7 and GP9. Okay. Then this end interacts with GP1, okay, and then GP1 interacts with P4 and P11 and they open up the channel. Now the DNA of M13 will emerge slowly, very slowly, and all the GP5 proteins will be replaced by the GP8. And at this end, GP3 and GP6 will adhere and they will complete the phage particle. Now in absence of GP3 and GP6, what will happen? GP8 will continue elongation with another DNA molecule, okay, producing a polyphage. So GP3 actually provides structural stability, okay, and helps in the formation of a filamental M13 virus. Now M13 viruses are released one by one from the extrusion pore without lysing the host cell. Okay. But if we look into the lawn of the lawn of the sensitive bacteria, then we will see that there are some plaque-like zones. Can you tell me why these plaque-like zones are formed?
Ma'am, the M13 viruses use the host cell machinery for replication, as a result of which the growth rate of the infected bacteria decreases compared to the growth rate of the uninfected bacteria. Therefore, we see the plaques.
That is why plaque-like zones appear in the lawn. Now, normally the first phage particle appears at about 10 minutes after infection. Then the number increases with time, and after 40 minutes the number increases exponentially. Then it becomes linear, and almost 1000 phage particles come out of an infected host cell in the first hour, okay, without lysing the host cell. Now filamentous phages can be used in many ways, like they can be used as cloning vector or phagemid or phage display. Currently they are using as nanomolecules. M13 is used as a cloning vector because of the small genome size and non-lytic infection cycle. And we have seen that the filament structure is dependent on the genome length. So we can insert foreign genes of any length. Okay, that is why it is used as a cloning vector. Also, cloned single-stranded DNA can be recovered very easily from the cell. The intergenic cis element, intergenic region can be manipulated. Okay, the intergenic region, all the regulatory components are packed so tightly in a small region, it can be used in many cloning vectors, and this region is manipulated for the development of cloning vectors. And one popular M13 cloning vector series is M13MP series. Now M13 is also used to develop phagemids. What are phagemids? Phagemids contain two sites of origin of replication, one origin of plasmid replication and one filamentous phage replication, origin of replication. Okay, that means they can multiply as a plasmid as well as when a bacterial cell containing phagemid is infected with a filamentous phage. Using the machinery of the filamentous phage, these phagemids can be converted to single-stranded DNA and can be packaged. Okay. And phage meats can be used in phage display. Okay, phage display is an in vitro selection technique by which polypeptides with desired properties can be extracted from a collection of variants. What is done in phage display? The protein of choice is tagged with a capsid protein of M13 virus. Okay, and then it is included in the phage meat. Now, as the M13, now a bacterial cell carrying the phage meat when infected with a helper virus, that is single-stranded DNA filamentous phage, it will provide all the packaging assembly proteins. Using those machinery, the phage meat will be converted to single-stranded DNA filamentous phage. Now, theoretically, all the capsid proteins can be used for phage display, but normally two proteins, GP8 and GP3, these two proteins are used for phage display. GP8 on the at the N-terminus end of GP8, small segments are attached, but it can only accommodate 6 to 8 residues because larger fragments will disrupt the packaging of GP8, but GP3 can accept larger inserts. Okay, that is why GP3 is used mainly for phage display. First, the library is created with different variants, then it is allowed to pass through a matrix having desired protein, and then it is washed. So, all the unbound phages will be released, only the bound phages will remain bound to the matrix, then it is washed properly and amplified. So, the desired protein will be displayed on the M13 surface. Very recently, filamentous phages are used to grow microscopic metal nanowires, okay, which conduct electricity. What is done? The wire is made using a mutant phage whose coat protein can bind to a metal like gold or cobalt. Okay, and the filaments form microscopic tubes, okay, tubes of metal around the phage, and thus it can be used to manufacture tiny batteries. So, today we learned how M13 bacteriophage, that is a filamentous bacteriophage, grows inside its host, okay, and how without lysing the host cell, it multiplies inside the host cell, then comes out of the host cell. Okay, the way is very unique, okay, compared to the double-stranded DNA bacteriophages. And M13 or filamentous bacteriophages can be used in a number of ways like cloning vectors, phage meats for phage display. Okay. So, M13 or filamentous phages are important tool in molecular biology as well as in modern biology.